Hey guys, welcome to the first ever hiking backpack review on this channel. I really don't know why that is. Seems like an oversight for a hiking channel, but hey, first times for everything. And we're kicking it off with Decathlon's stab at an ultralight but still quite substantial hiking backpack, the Forclaz MT900 UL 50+10 backpack. Super confusing naming conventions at Decathlon as usual, but as long as they keep churning out interesting new gear, we will allow it. This one's slightly heavier than the ultralight backpacks that I am used to, but it does offer a couple of creature comforts that maybe I have done without for too long. There's a fully ventilated and adjustable arched back panel. There is side access to the main compartment, huge side, front, and hip pockets, and room for a water bladder. All that for 1.3 kilograms. You gotta admit, that doesn't sound halfway bad. My most used backpack is currently a Durson Gear Cockwood that is a 40-liter backpack, and it weighs about 800 grams, so the weight to load capacity ratio is actually not that far off. Going into this review, I was expecting to be wowed by the back panel since it's got this full mesh structure keeping your back nice and dry, and I have never really had that feature in a bigger multi-day backpack. I tested it in a couple of different situations on pack rafting and hiking trips with loads up to 15 kilograms, that's about 33 pounds, and it performed well, but I did find out that fit and comfort are more important to me personally than ventilation. This pack is as comfortable as my regular backpack, which is to say very, and it's pretty easy to dial in for a variety of body shapes, but I didn't find the mesh, the absence of a sweaty back, to be a game changer. There are many things about hiking for days that can become uncomfortable: feet, knees, shoulders, lower backs, you name it. I'm sure that's different for everyone. And I'm sure for some people, one of the main ones is gonna be, I hate the fact that my back gets all sweaty. If that is you, then I'm pretty sure you're gonna like this setup. Second big feature on my list is big pockets. I just love that you can stash a drone and a controller in the hip pockets, two 1.5 liter bottles in the side pockets, a whole tent in the front pocket, just loads and loads of space everywhere. And you may not always use that, but I do love having a foldable chair at the ready without having to dig into the main compartment. I love being able to take my wet tent in the morning, put it in the front pocket, take it out as soon as we have a small break, let it dry out in the sun. It just adds a lot of versatility, though it is probably more space than I need. So perhaps a slightly smaller model would have been even better for me. Though actually, there is a slightly smaller model. There is the Forclaz MT900 UL 45+10 backpack in this stylish gray with orange accents. And I knew that when I bought the bigger blue one, but I didn't go for the smaller one because, wait for it, it says on the website that this one is for women. Yes, I'm officially stupid because I looked at the pictures side by side. I could hardly spot any difference at all, and I still ordered the blue one because I was probably scared that there were lady bits that I was overlooking. Fragile masculinity as its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever our gender though, I think we can all come together in a common love for pockets. Third feature I loved was the water bladder setup. The bladder is not included, and of course this is something that you can find in many backpacks, just not typically ultralight backpacks. And so I'm happy to see it here. It does make it easier to stay hydrated, so I'm marking it as a pro. So after a couple of trips and letting a few friends test it for a while, I was feeling pretty good about this backpack, but I did notice that it's not the highest rated product in the Forclaz lineup on their own website. It's got 4.1 stars out of 5, which is obviously still okay, but a bit less than other Forclaz models. And I noticed a couple of recurring complaints, some of which I do recognize. Number one is people complaining about creaking, and yeah, I did notice a creak on one occasion, just a couple of kilometers really, coming from my right shoulder. But I have to say that's a tough thing to review because A, the creaking is coming from your back, so it's always kind of hard to pinpoint the issue, and B, there's always a possibility of it coming from something that you packed or the way that you packed it rather than the backpack itself. But given that I'm not the only one noticing it, if you know that sound is something that you're really sensitive to, things like creaking and stuff, it's probably something to take into account. Number 2 is the complaint that the pack is complicated, and that is perhaps true because it features more straps and clips than a 50 Shades movie. But that's really just a result of it being fully featured and adjustable. There is nothing here that strikes me as superfluous or needlessly complicated. If you want a simpler pack, Decathlon sells many of those, so it's kind of a weird thing, in my opinion, to complain about. Thirdly, there are some complaints about fit, and especially the fact that the frame kind of sticks out at the bottom and puts too much pressure on your hips and bottom. This is potentially a big one, but it just wasn't an issue for me. Some of it might have been lack of experience dialing in a perfect fit. Some of it might just have been different body types. This is a case where I would personally, if you are thinking about getting one, I would make sure to get it fitted by someone who knows what they're doing. Test it beforehand, just do a 15K hike before you go on a longer hike, and just return it if it bothers you. Decathlon has a 1-year return window with not too many questions asked, and if they notice a lot of people are returning these, they'll know that something's wrong, and I'm sure they'll look into the issue. So fit was not a problem for me, and nor was it for the friends that have tested it with me, but don't be shy about sending this back because that's just how companies learn. Lastly, some small features that are worth mentioning. The large side pockets have a clip on the side letting you put bottles in sideways, which is real handy. There are small straps tucked away at the bottom that you can use to attach even more stuff to. Waterproofing is decent for a light drizzle, but you're definitely going to want to use the rain cover in anything more than that. The adjustment range for the torso length is pretty wide at about 70 centimeters, and adjusting it is as easy as pulling up this orange-red tab and sliding it upward or downward. Decathlon never put bottle holders on the shoulder straps. I personally like those because I usually have a camera on one strap and that helps to balance things out. But of course, it's hardly something to complain about when you already have such an abundance of storage space. All right, that's all I've got. At 145 euros, I think this is a great as an ultralight adjustable backpack with a lot of features and Decathlon's generous return policy as a safety net. I hope that was helpful. Happy trails, and may your backpacks be light and your pockets plentiful.